Hello guys, welcome back to Sorry Gregory. Today we are going to have a look at the verb suggest. Suggest is an unusual English verb and a lot of English learners struggle to use it correctly. For example, often they say, he suggested to call him, which is a mistake. But today we're going to fix it. Let's do it. Now, before we get into this video, please make sure you subscribe to this channel and you hit the bell icon to turn your notifications on. That way you will not miss a single upload. Suggest means mention or recommend something to think about or something someone should do. Basically, you suggest a thought or an idea. Then what's wrong with the sentence, he suggested to call him? Well, the verb suggest should be followed by a that clause or an ing form. It cannot be followed by a to infinitive. The that clause indicates what action we are suggesting and indicates the person doing the action. This way, we should say, he suggested that I call him, or if you don't want to indicate any person, he suggested calling him. Have a look at some other examples. The doctor suggested taking a vaccination. Don't say the doctor suggested to take a vaccination. It's incorrect. Also, we can say, I suggest that you drive, or I suggest that you do it. What if you don't want to use the word that? Well, in informal English, it's very common to omit the word that. Then, the sentence looks as follows. He suggested, I call him, or the doctor suggested, I take a vaccination. I suggest you drive. I suggest we do it together. Easy as a walk in the park, isn't it? So remember that you cannot use another verb form in the that clause. You must use the base form, the simplest form of a verb. Also, after he, she and it. For example, I suggest that she study more. Now you may think, shouldn't it be she studies? No, it shouldn't. This is what makes the English verb suggest different from other verbs. It should be, I suggest she study more. Let's have a look at some more examples. Just remember that if you put the word that, your sentence sounds more formal. I suggest he walk to school. She suggests he go to Poland instead of Italy this summer. I suggested he be Queen Elsa from Frozen for Halloween. Better not. I suggested he ask someone else for help. He suggested I be here tomorrow. Now comes the last one today. Here you simply put the word suggest and a noun. For example, can you suggest a good hotel in Paris? I can see this temptation. I know that many of you would like to put me after the word suggest, but you can't do it. No, you can't really. Instead, you can say, can you suggest a good hotel in Paris to me? Or, my teacher suggested an interesting book to me. Remember that you can't say, my teacher suggested me an interesting book. It makes no sense. Can you suggest an interesting YouTube channel? He has suggested a way to improve the economy. He suggested several different things to do after dinner. That's it. Let's recap it one more time. Don't let the word suggest scare you. If you have any questions, I suggest you write them below. I will be happy to help. I hope you've learned something new from today's clip. Let me know if it's useful. See you in the next video. Cheers!